Today we're going to talk about everybody's rule zeros in Magic the Gathering. Partially, today's discussion was inspired by a lot of people's hatred for Drannith Magistrate. Drannith Magistrate completely changes the purpose of, like, Commander at 1 white, 1 generic. It's a 1/3 creature, human wizard, but your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. And, a lot of people just say, well, the simple rule is, rule zeros this thing out of the game if it's really that big of a deal. It's a funny card because it actually was meant to prevent companions from taking over, certain metagames in like Legacy and Modern. And in the end, and Standard and Pioneer. And in the end, it actually just screws over Commander in a huge way. But personally for me, our playgroup actually has a very unusual rule zero. It's unusual because people don't specify this that hard. In fact, my rule zero is just playing by the normal rules, and that is you can resign at any moment you want and for strategic reasons, or even despite your opponents. And the whole idea is that, like, let's say you stole my creature and now you need it to block and you're threatening me with some spell. I don't know. I could resign the game to remove the creature that you stole from me that leaves you vulnerable to somebody else. So you got to be careful if you're coming at me, all right? If you're coming at the king, you better not miss in that case. So it's unusual because there's a lot of interesting rule zeros in the form of, like, you can only resign at sorcery speed, or you have to, like, basically, you don't resign when your opponent's getting, like, value off of their spells. And in my playgroup, that's actually the opposite. You have to be expected for the feel bads. You got to be thinking about that. You should be thinking about it. So that's our rule zero. It's a very bizarre rule zero. What do we got here? Tommy's rule zero is kill me first. That also might be a good rule zero. And here's this is, I think, going to be a very popular one. Unbanning banned cards. Schroetenator says Golos is legal in their play group. Golos, the five manager. I'm sure there was a lot of people with Golos decks, and now they're just completely useless now. Or not useless. They're like, hey, can I still play with Golos? And they're like, sure. Like, we had no problem before. We have no problem now. We got Kyle Driver here with the super chat. We play Commander, and our only rule is no infinites. So, like, how far does this go? Or do you have, like, a stop at some point? Do you stop it at, like, okay, like, let's say I've got an Azami combo. Let's say I have a zombie online and I have infinite card draw. Does that mean I can only draw, like, 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards a turn? Is there, like, a limit to, like, or am I just not even allowed to have the combos in the first place? I heard there are some people who are like, okay, you can have an infinite combo, but it can't actually go infinite. There's, like, a finite number of times you may activate your combo. Oh, I like this one. Some pleb. My group's rule zero is turn 7 is the earliest you can end the game. I always thought that there should have been, like, I always figured that a really popular rule zero should be, like, nobody's allowed to win the game up until a certain point. I don't know. I'm not really a big StarCraft player, but I was familiar with that in the really old original StarCraft. They had, like, 5-minute no Zerg Rush servers. So, like, nobody Zerg Rush. No one win the game too early. They had, like, their own rule zero in StarCraft. And I figured that, like, that could be a similar rule applied in Commander. No one's like, if you were to win the game before turn 7, then you probably lose the game instead. Kevin says, Kevin the Carpathian. I play EDH and our pods is really only no intentional 2-card. Again, no 2-card combos. I apologize in advance for all the 2-card combo videos I've made. I've destroyed Commander groups single-handedly. With Commander, look at the top 3 cards and then put them back in any order before you draw. So you get a free brainstorm before the game begins. Brainstorm. Look at the top 3 cards and put them back in any order before you draw. No other rule 0. That's incredible. Oh, so hold on. No. Wait a minute. It's like a ponder. Okay, so it's more like ponder. Or I don't know. I don't know what, like, specific card this is. There's no, like, you basically reorder the top 3 of your cards in any way you want to make it, you know, give yourself a little bit of consistency. You get your 7-card hand, and you're like, this may or may not be good. So it's like having an 8-card hand, but you don't have access to 3 of those cards yet. They're still on top of your library. That's a crazy rule 0. We're gonna get some crazy ones today. Keith Stoltz says our rule 0 is no power 9. Well, most of it's banned. Or Magic 30th anniversary cards. A few drawn proxies are lit. So you allow proxies, but to spite the 30th anniversary, you're not allowing that stuff though. A few drawn proxies are legit though. That is so weird. Okay, so no time to like what is legal in what is it, just Time Twister? I think there's only Time Twister is legal in Commander. Right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Legal in Commander. What else is there? Time Walk? That Time Walk for sure is banned. Time Walk's banned. Ancestral Recall is banned. I don't remember maybe the last 9th card. Black Lotus. No, Black Lotus 5 box, and that's 6 cards. That's it. It's power 9. So basically, you're hating on Time Twister, is what you're telling me. You're hating on the Time Twister. Proxy or no proxy. Daniel says, I don't know if this counts as a rule 0 or just a house rule. That's the thing. The house rules are rule 0s, basically. But once per game, you're allowed 1 take backseat where you can undo a stupid move you made. This flies in my super casual group. What? Only 1? You'll only let 1 take backseat. This is casual. Hell, I let people take backseat at F&M at regular REL. That is so hard. That's actually super hardcore. That's very hardcore. 1 take backseat a game. I don't know. Like, do you guys let take backsies happen? I'm assuming it's like a normal thing. Like, oh, I screwed up. Well, no, I should have really. I played this. I should have really played this. You just, you know, switching it around. We gotta talk to Webster about take backseat. We gotta get take backseat into the Webster's dictionary. Take backseat, a means of replacing one game action that was generally a mistake with another one. Michael Johnson with the super chat. No lands in hand equal free mulligan. There we go. That's also an old school rule to Magic the Gathering as well. So hold on, you get the free mulligan and you get another mulligan on top of that? Because you are allowed 1 free mulligan in Commander, period. So I guess if you have, but you wouldn't want to waste it on a no land hand, I guess. You wouldn't want to waste it on a no land hand. Mohammed says, mine is we can use any banned card as long as it's used fairly. That's right. I need to be in your playgroup so I can play Tinker. I swear I have nothing broken to go get with this. I just want to replace my Ether Vial with Relic of Progenitus. You know, I just want that utility. Tinker would be so good if you couldn't get broken cards. I don't know, would it be so bad to have them reprint Tinker, but make it like 3 mana or less? Like the tutor target has to be 3 mana or less. It's probably still broken. That would go into like Thopter Sword combos or something. It would make them so incredibly consistent. And these days you can sack anything. You can sack a blood token, for crying out loud. Those things are artifacts. Okay, Josh has a rule 0. You don't get a take-see backseat unless you're winning by a clear margin. You don't. Hold on, what? Unless you're. Hold on, so you want. I don't understand this. You don't get a take-see backseat unless you're winning by a clear margin. So you need to be winning to get the take-see backseat, but if you're losing. Oh, I can sort of see that. So, like, if you're losing. hey, stop, like, taking back your turns. You're losing anyway. Stop slowing down the game. You know, you're going to lose anyway, so just lose. Whereas, if you want the game to end, you sort of give a little bit of a bonus to the person who's already winning. Because people do like the game ending eventually. You know. I think, what do you got? You guys sort of like the idea of a Commander game lasting between 45 minutes and an hour, I think. Lord Magicus, I played with a group once where they said that for Commander, you need 20 Infect to die rather than 10. Well, I think I saw another one like this. 15 Infect in Commander is where it's at. All right. Where do you guys, how much Infect damage should be lethal in Commander? We're going to get it out right now. Let's find out right now. What do you guys think? I'm wondering, should this be like a vote? Should we vote on this? What do you think is a good amount? We got 20, we got 10. Well, 10 is the normal number. 10 is we found the Infect player. We found the Infect player. It's chemical death. 21 like Commander damage. 30 to 30, 15 from Commander. 21 just like Commander damage. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it's still around half the life total. You know, life totals in Commander are like 40, and half the life total of Commander is 20. So it actually makes a lot of sense still. 2x life total for 40, so 2x can infect. 40 or equal opponent's life total. That's just crazy. That just defeats the point of Infect in the first place. 10 Infect equals dead, so the Infect player has to deal a total of 30 Infect damage to win. Infect is BS, 99. Wait, what's Commander damage? Okay, we found the non-Commander player. Or a Commander player that doesn't know what Commander damage is. I have to admit, I don't know all the Commander rules. I sort of learn it on the fly as I go along. Apparently, I'm the one who has to record Commander damage. I think that's a bit awkward. Kyle Driver with the super chat. EDH and CEDH should have separate ban lists. You know what? I used to think this, and to some degree I still think this, but it sounds like there's like EDH, CEDH, and then there's tournament EDH. And tournament EDH maybe should have the separate ban list. You know, the more I talk to competitive EDH players, it sounds like it's still the casual format. Like, it's still casual Commander, rules zeros all around, fun, everyone, you know, feel goods are all around, not hardcore competitive Magic. It's just that they're more in the line of playing, they're playing to win, so to say. Whereas other EDH games, they're not necessarily playing to win. They're playing to, you know, just kill time and basically, you know, play solitaire with each other until, like, you know, turn 7 where you decide, okay, someone's allowed to win the game at this point. So it sounds like for the people who are super hardcore, they need to, like, make a tournament EDH. Okay, here we go. We got the CEDH experts right here, the spike feeders. Nobody who's capable of making a separate CEDH ban list wants CEDH to have a separate ban list. There we go. We've got the experts here, right? Well, we got a... There we go. We got a sound effect for the spike feeders themselves. Check out the CDs for your CDH group, or sorry, for your CEDH goodness. Go check out the spike feeders. Where else do we have here? I never played against Infect, so nobody knows. Josh says, sometimes I play to win, and sometimes I play my group hug deck. See, there's the thing. Is there a group hug CEDH deck? Probably not, but that's why it's CEDH. What happened to Wither, by the way? It was a good mechanic. I have no idea. I don't play with any Wither cards, to be honest. Okay, so Magus of the Bargain, Thassa's Oracle, and Laboratory Maniac don't need to be banned so much as they need better answers printed in every color. That's like, well, I don't know. That's an awkward one. They probably do have answers in every color. You just don't even want to play them. Oh, we got Dark Star. Ashura. Okay, my group's Rule 0 Nephilim are allowed for commanders and are treated as legendary on top of this Bruna the Fading Light. Okay, hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're saying a lot of stuff here I don't even understand. Nephilim are allowed in Commander. Which one? This one? Oh, these are all Nephilim. What, are these banned or something? What's going on here? Are allowed for, okay, these are allowed for commanders. That is a very strange rule 0. And are treated as legendary. On top of this, Bruna the Fading Light and Gazella the Broken Blade have partner with each other. Okay. That is a very highly specific rule 0. The Nephilims. Oh, I see. They're just creatures, but they're like 4 types. Whenever Dune Brood Nephilim deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 colorless sand creature token into play for each land you control. These seem like very soft commanders. Whenever deals combat damage to a player, draw that many cards. Okay, that's a good one! You deal that much damage, draw that many cards. You can also discard a card. Glint Eye Nephilim gets +1/+1 until end of turn. I could see that being a commander. So basically just adding the legendary subtype to these things. Oh, yeah. Oh, in regards to the Thassa's Oracle discussion, a real good solution would be to include stifle effects as part of white's selection of the color palette. See, yeah, but white and blue have access to this stuff, but, like, what about red and black? They're just F out of luck. All right, you heard the sound. That means we got to thank our sponsors. Fusion Gaming Online. We're going to look at more rule zeros. Don't you go anywhere. But we got to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy Magic the Gathering cards. Amazing deals every week. And you want to get in on this one. We've got 15% off all Urza block singles. So your Gilded Drake stealing creatures, the Gaia's Cradle, make tons of mana. You want to regenerate your creatures. We got the Yavimaya Hollow over here. And now you can get them 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu, though, at checkout to get an additional 5% off all your purchases, and it supports the channel. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. And believe it or not, you can rent Commander decks here. I don't know, I mean, yeah, so if you want to play one-on-one Commander is still, you know, running pretty well. The 4-player Commander on Magic Gathering Online is honestly pretty jank, but if you're one-on-one Commander happy, hey, you can rent a whole Commander deck and play unlimited types of decks when you're renting with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_WS2. And now back to the rule 0 zeros. Okay, Magus of the Bargain. House rule: legendary or legendary or Nephilim. Can't have both. 1 versus 1 competitive EDH is really popular in Europe. I know where to move then. I would really like one-on-one actual competitive Commander. I love the idea of a singleton format in competitive. Although I have to admit, you'd have to ban all the reserve list cards because I would want this to be a sustainable format. Wizards will not endorse proxies in their official tournaments. At least not yet. Okay, what other rule zeros do we have here? Okay, Kevin. It's Kevin the Carpathian. Again, all the proxies you want as long as they are under $75. Well, the proxies are worthless. Or you mean like you can proxy cards that have a value under $75. So basically, none of the super busted cards. You know, the stuff that's relative. Although there's a lot of busted cards that are under $75. But whatever, I guess this is a good way to, like, keep in check the power level of proxies. Have you tried Conquest? It's basically that. 50 card singleton. No, I have no... I honestly don't want to invest my time into a singleton, like another format, unless it's like supported automatically by Wizards of the Coast. Like, I want to see I want to be able to travel to an EDH tournament, basically. And the rule 0 in the tournament is win, basically, at all costs. Crimson Wolf with the super chat. The first rule 0, ante. Oh my god. That's like the word, you know, some of my greatest feel-bads as a kid was like gambling with pogs. I think it's a good thing that we got rid of the ante. The first rule 0. That was the OG Rule 0. You gotta ante stuff. I'm like, what were they thinking? I bet there are some people who are degenerate. They wanna... Does anyone still play with ante? I didn't think about that. Some people might still do that. That is a nuts one. Oh God, what have we done? What have you done, Crimson Wolf? What have you done? You're gonna get people like turning into gambling fanatics all over again. We're gonna bring back Magic the Gathering the way it used to be. Back in my day, ante was a blast. I cannot imagine playing with ante right now. Like you could so min-max against people with like budget EDH or even CEDH decks. Like I had my clock cleaned by like a budget vampire deck that I have no idea how much it cost. It probably didn't cost like much of anything. All the lands were swamps. And, you know, that's all you do. You just bring your $100 budget deck with nothing more than like each card doesn't cost more than like, I don't know, $5. And then try to swipe some value off of the people that brought big money. Ante wasn't fun. I lost my unlimited. Oh, no. Oh, no. I lost marbles. I lost like Pogs. I didn't lose any Pokemon cards because there was like no ante for Pokemon as the last I remember. Well, whatever. You know, if everyone's on the same page at home, if everyone's on the same page. Okay, we got 16. Best rule 0 is any planeswalker can be your commander. So, well, I don't know what I would want for my commander. Jace the Mind Sculptor, maybe? That'd be a sick commander. What would you be if any planeswalker could be your commander? What would be your commander if it was like a non-official commander? I think this is a reasonable rule 0 too, by the way. Oh, Tommy broke the format already. I think Tommy broke the format. Oko, Thief of Crowns. Oko. Oh, I don't know. Is it that I don't think it's broken in Commander. Or maybe it is. Turn everyone's Soul Ring into a elk. 3/3 elk. Oh, God! Yeah, you have to then... Rule 0. Any planeswalker can be your commander, but at the same time, Teferi Time Reveler has to be banned. That sounds like a brutal commander to have. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, turn off. Is there a planeswalker that turns off other planeswalkers? Or other commanders? If any walker could be my commander, I'd go with Professor Onyx. Professor Onyx. Black 4 generic. With Magecraft, oh god, the storm planeswalker. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. +1, you lose 1 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And it's so easy to cast too because there's a lot of generic mana in that casting cost. This be problem. Big problem. Oh, it's a huge deal with Chains of Smog. Renin 6 be the best commander? Would it? I think it's just a dirtly commander. I think Renin 6 is, would stay in check. I mean, getting a land every turn is not particularly busted in Commander. This is a very slow value card. I think it would be very, very slow. You cannot let Tezzeret the Seeker be a commander. Oh, wait, well, it sounds like there's a lot of busted commanders that could be, or sorry, a lot of busted planeswalkers as commander. So maybe the format balances itself out. And okay, we got the official Spike Feeder saying, I think War, Ashiok, or Narset. Oh, Narset would be crazy. No one, but that's a pretty fair one, no? Okay, well, you get value off of this thing. Each opponent, oh, but it keeps coming back. So you keep killing Narset, and Narset comes back at 5 mana. You can keep looking for more value cards. It's basically like Impulse over and over again. So each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. You just load your deck up with Time Twister and Wheel of Fortune. And how bad is Ashiok? Ashiok would just hate on the basically graveyard decks. Oh, and no tutoring. No tutoring. Yeah, this is a strong one. Just screw people out. Alright, Ashiok. Can you get Ashiok out turn 1? With enough Moxen in your hand, I guess it's possible. No, this is okay. The rule 0 we were talking about is Planeswalkers can be your commander. And we got a lot of good discussion about that. Oh, that's a good one too, Saheeli. It sounds like someday we should just like that should be the topic. What if Planeswalkers were your commander? Saheeli, Sublime Artificer. A lot of Saheelis out here. This is basically a super young Pyromancer. Cast non-creature spells, get 1/1 servos. Not bad. Oh yeah, Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual gets it. Yeah, I'm thinking of like how Ashok is a hybrid Dimir and hybrid Dimir commander. Okay, Darkstar, sure, getting back on topic. Now, most rule zeros I've heard are for EDH/Commander, but here's one I have for Modern. No Modern Horizons 2 cards. Well, that's why, like, what's it called? What's his name? Doomwake made, like, a Modern format without Modern Horizons cards. So anyway, this was all related to this one. Best rule 0 is any Planeswalker could be your commander. What? Okay, what is... Do we have any more rule 0s? I have to dig back into the past for other rule 0 discussion. Oh, here we go. Rule 0, no mass land destruction. It sounds like Darkstar Ashura has like a lot of rule 0s in their playgroup, like tons of them. No mass land destruction unless there's a ramp lands matter deck at the table. What the hell does that mean? So like, if there's one deck that ramps, that justifies like basically Armageddon. Okay, so Armageddon is only justified. So the Ponza player can be at the table if the land ramping player is at the table. So and then that everyone's cool. Everyone's cool there. Because you will at least have, you know, there's actually justifying the land destruction deck by a big margin. Dick's like, BS! I'm playing Armageddon in my mono white. Basically nothing else. If you Armageddon, you better have a win condition. I hear this a lot, actually. A lot of people have no problem with cards like Armageddon if you can finish the game quickly, like if it's for a strategic reason. But they just don't like things like Armageddon if it just drags the game for eternity. It's like you basically reset the game for no reason whatsoever, except to just blow up all our lands. So we got Flo Nino with these super chats. 1 big library and 1 graveyard for all, 1 free spell a turn, and 10 basic lands for all players for other spells. 2 of each basic was very fun. So what, you start the game... Okay, so everyone plays with okay, if I get this correctly, you all play with 1 giant library and 1 graveyard. Everyone gets to play 1 free spell a turn, and you have 10 basic lands for all players for other spells. So everyone starts the game with 2 islands, 2 plains, 2 mountains, 2 forests, 2 swamps. There's some variation of Magic that this sounds similar to that I can't remember the name, where yeah, everyone plays off the same library. But hold on, what's your commander? What's everybody's commander? That's it sounds crazy. I don't know how that works with commander. Table Salt, a rule 0 I often do because I only have mostly CEDH decks, is letting players choose to draw an additional card or drop an additional land each turn to balance our tempos. Drawing an additional card, what, every turn? Or just 1 turn, one turn draw more cards, or 1 turn play an extra land. That is actually a very interesting rule. If I'm interpreting it like that, just for 1 turn, that is an interesting concept, because some people might need the extra card draw, and some people might need the extra land drops. This is a very interesting idea. But I would only interpret this on turn 1. Where you like need that help. Perpetually drawing extra cards or putting extra lands in play sounds insane. Just absolutely crazy. Bofa is banned. Bofa these nuts. If I got this right. Welcome, Pure MTG. Rule 0. No elves. Are you serious? You're hating on the elves player. No elves. Who hurt you? Basically, what elf deck hurt you here? Someone played like, I don't know. I don't think elves are broken. I don't know. Actually, I take that back. Elves is like can be a turn 2, turn 3 win in Legacy, so it easily could be broken in Commander. And you have access to like every broken card possible. No elves, 0. All of them hurt me. All right, fair enough. Okay, Rotom, rule 0. Don't be a baby and play as much proxies as you want as long as they look like the real cards, and also your deck must be able to win the game. That is a funny thing though, so the cards have to look good. Well, okay, I will admit this. Like, it sort of sucks if somebody has just a bunch of pieces of paper with writing on them. So, and like when you look over at their table, you'd have to constantly check, oh, like, what on earth does everybody have? So as long as, like, you know, if they're basically printed out pieces of paper from, like, you know, Scryfall here, you can print out your Llanowar Elves, Strike Fear, and who is it? I can't remember who suggested who bans the Llanowar Elves. I can understand, like, you know, as long as it sort of looks like a card, that's acceptable instead of people constantly checking what is what. Because sometimes just putting a piece of paper in the sleeve doesn't really do it justice, especially if it's with one card, you know, whatever, that's fine. It's one card, but if it's like your whole board state, it can be an eyesore to interpret. It can be a very big eyesore. What do we got here? My old group's rule 0 was that Mill and Infect were soft banned. They're afraid of Mill? You're afraid of Mill? Get the Millstone here. Is it Millstone? Yeah, it is Millstone. I want the original Millstone. Where is the original Mule? What the hell? Millstone. And that Infect were soft banned. Why are you hating on the Mill, though? It's interesting, you guys, you have you gatekeep certain strategies. You know, you don't like that strat. So, like, basically, somebody was undefeated. No one had the answers. So the best way to answer it is just boycott the thing. Okay, we're not calling up Billy anymore because of the stupid Mill deck. But Billy wants to play. Okay, Billy can come play, but no Mill deck. And of course, some of you guys also solve the Infect problem by just upping the Infect life. Or is it the Infect? You can't win before. Infect needs to deal like 15 to 20 damage to be reasonable. Yeah, so like as in the proxy card thing, cards not looking like a card, its proxy slows the game down so much, even custom art ones. Or you don't like the custom art ones either. You'd have to have a memory for that. You know, but these days there's so many different various arts for the same card. I'm trying to think, like, what card has, like, more arts than anything else? Oh, like, I don't know, Lightning Bolt, I guess. I know Lightning Bolt has a lot of different arts. Behold! All the prints of Lightning Bolt in all of its glory. And they've used this picture a lot, but they've got a lot of different ones. Oh, look at this image coming right up. There's a lot of different Lightning Bolts. I guess it's easy, though, for Lightning Bolt. You know, just bolt them in the face. Also, this card probably doesn't see any play in Commander. This is probably the best card in competitive play outside of Commander, and then, like, basically is useless in that format. I don't know, any CEDH players can prove me wrong. But I believe Lightning Bolt is completely very, very poor, at the very least. Next week. Okay, Billy isn't allowed to play with us anymore. Okay, Billy can come, just no Mill or Infect. Yeah, that's right. I'm sure some of you guys have this situation. Someone's asking, like, hey, why you guys don't call me for Commander anymore? And then they'll say, well, you keep playing that stupid Mill deck. All right, I just won't play the Mill deck. Just won't play the Mill deck, that's all. Rule 0, wash your booty before coming. Hygiene, good hygiene. No butt stink. Hey, and I do have a hack for that. Baby wipes. Baby wipes work really well. Love baby... Flushable baby wipes. You gotta have the flushable ones. You don't have the flushable ones, you're gonna clog public toilets. Gotta bring the baby wipes with you. I shamelessly use baby... I bring my baby wipes to the GPs. I bring the baby wipes to the GPs. What the hell is this? Bring your own barbecue? Bring your own beer? Oh, bring your own beer. Sorry, I don't drink, so, I mean, some of these things are a little foreign to me. Oh, I wish this was a rule 0 in tournaments. Wash hands, too. I could be completely on board with that. But unfortunately, you can't monitor everyone who goes to the bathroom. You just know if they go and they flush the toilet and they come out immediately, something's up. Key Stoltz, my friend's rule 0 is that you can look at the top card of your library at your opponent's turn when you are next to help plan your turn and not hold up the game during your turn. What the hell? You can look at the top card of your library. Oh, I get it. You look at your card. You're just looking at your card, so you get to know what you're gonna do. That is so abusable, though. I mean, I guess that works, though. It will work. You will plan out your turn ahead better, because you already know what you're doing. I can see that, you know, some people can be so slow with their turns. So you get so that now that they have access to the card that they're going to draw next turn, they can plan everything out and then keep the speed up. It's all about keeping the games going faster, people. Keep the game going. Keep the game moving. All right, we got Kyle Driver with the super chat. Hate getting milled, so I made an abs and self mill deck. What, so you mill yourself? That's so bizarre. Thank you very much for the super chat, Kyle Driver. If you look at the top card of your library, that's a warning that it would be a game lost in a tournament. Don't get into that bad habit. Well, that's why it's a rule 0. They know it's not. It's against the rules. All the rule 0s are against the rules, technically, to some degree. They're like cultivating their own rules at home. If all 4 of our players bring your own beer, then we'll have 8 players. Bring your own brothers? What? Frosty complete. My local game store's rule 0 is no more than 1 extra turn at a time, and silver border is legal the last day of the month. How often do you guys play? Sounds like you play every single day. The last day of the month. So, okay, time warp. It sounds like a reasonable rule 0. No, too many extra turns. Or like, you know, some of you guys are like, okay, you can have as many extra turns as you want so long as you win the game. It seems like infinite's allowed if you win the game. Because going infinite is like a means of actually winning. It's like a win condition. I like Sheldon Menery's house mulligan rule shown in Profs, shuffle up and play. Was it, it's like, I saw it, but I don't remember it. It was something like if you have too few lands, you got a free mulligan, or too many lands, you got a free mulligan, but you guys, like, they also policed themselves so that they don't abuse it. Because, like, that is so abusable for combo decks. So basically, they know, like, hey, if you're playing, like, a fair deck, you can, you know, you can use this mulligan. But if you're not playing a fair deck, like, hey, don't BS around with this free mulligan. So you had to, like, police yourselves. So, something of that effect. I don't remember exactly. Like, I just remember Sheldon said, like, this is an abusable mulligan, so you got to use it got to be done within reason. Darkstar Ashura, again with the super chat. I hate mills so much, I spent $80 on Ulam. Oh my god. Okay, that's one way of solving the problem. See, we've got the... What is it, this one? We got the answers. There's an answer to every problem. Like, all you have to do is buy... Oh, you can't buy Emrakul, that's right. Emrakul's banned. Emrakul's the go-to card. So, but Ulamog is, I guess... Probably the price of Ulamog is this in such a way so that you can beat the mill decks. But then what if they play Tasha's Hideous Laughter on you and exile it? Then you'd be screwed. That's the next level for mill people. They're gonna exile the cards. You're gonna see it from Wizards. They're gonna start slowly creeping up more like mill-like effects that exile. Yeah, Ulamog, by the way, the reason we're talking about this is because when it's put in the graveyard from anywhere, its owner shuffles their graveyard into their library, and anyone can play this card because it's colorless. Anybody. Magus of the Bargain says silver border should be legal the first day of every month so that they are legal on April Fool's Day. Very fitting. Chemical Death. My group's rule 0 is no Mishra Porgidi? You mean Prodigy? After I played it one time. Oh, you played it one time? They said, okay, you're not allowed to play with that card? Mishra's Prodigy? Hold on, is that a new card? I've never heard of this card. Mishra's... Is it really Porgidi? Porgidi. I don't know what a Porgidi is. No. Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about, Chemical Death. Oh, you have a... Oh, no Cyclonic Rift, so basically no feel bad cards. Cyclonic Rift. You banned... Cyclonic Rift is banned in your playgroup. I don't know what the big... I mean, like, again, it's a board reset card, but, you know, whatever. I'm surprised it got this popular and still sticking around. Rule 0, no Rule 0. There we go. Truly, we're playing Magic as pure as possible around here in Victor's parts. It was keep mulliganing until you have a hand with 3 lands, and then you have to keep that hand. That is such an... Oh, I see. Yeah, that's such an abusable rule. Very, very abusable. No, keep mulliganing until you have a hand with 3 lands. And it could take forever. Or do you just, like, set aside hands until you draw one with three lands? That would make it faster. Okay, we got Beatnik with the, our rule 0 is to play to win, no drawing a game out, end it if you can end it. We had a few games where someone had the win and let it play out. Well, maybe they just didn't know what your motivations were. I played EDH once where I had the win, but everyone was stumbling and stuck and trying to get their game going, and they couldn't. And I knew I was playing with a bunch of casual players. So I basically highly signified I had Thassa's Oracle in my hand, and I exiled my library. I played, like, Paradigm Shift, which exiled my library, and then put my graveyard as my library. And I basically gave everybody 7 turns to do something about it, because there were 7 cards in my library. They didn't do anything, so I just played Thassa's Oracle in one. I gave them a chance. Everyone's deck was so inconsistent. So maybe they just didn't know that even though they're mana screwed, they should just put them out of their misery. I'm mana screwed. Put me out of my misery, damn it. Team Super Friends MTG. Rule 0 is no ban list for Modern second week of every month. Oh, that's interesting. So this is a Rule 0 outside of Commander. So basically no ban Modern. All hell breaks loose. Oh, the name was Mishra Artificer Prodigy. Okay, Mishra Artificer. There we go. Okay, so this is the card that's banned in, I can't remember whose playgroup, because they got it banned. Red, black, blue, 1 generic, 4/4, Human Artificer. Seems fine. Oh, this is the old Mishra. Whenever you play an artifact spell, you may search your graveyard, hand, and/or library for a card with the same name as that spell and put it into play. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. When you replay an artifact spell, you may search your graveyard, hand, or library for a card with the same name as that spell and put it into play. But you can't search for the same card in Commander. How does this work? How did you break this? How did you break this card? Whenever you play an artifact spell, because you only have 1 copy of everything in Commander, unless you have, like, is anyone playing Commander but you're allowed to play with 4 copies of everything? That sounds crazy. Hey, Duarte says, in my house, everyone plays anything they want, no proxies ever. In our spirit is, in MTG, you have sufficient cards to play and counter everything if you cast it wisely. Okay. Tell that to the competitive players. We have all the answers if you play them wisely. Sometimes some cards are just completely overpowered. Reminds me of a chess player I once played with that said, no matter what the situation, there's always a way out. You just have to find it. Well, okay, it's a good philosophy if everyone's on board with it. Spool Letter says, I saw one with Dryad Arbor. You play it in a separate zone in front of everything so nobody misses it. Yeah, you gotta... Well, you have to... In general, the rules are, if your lands are creatures, they have to be piled with your creatures in front of your lands. Oh, you break it with Possibility. You break this with Possibility Storm? Is that how this works? Whenever you play an artifact spell, you may search your library hand or... I still don't know how this works. What is Possibility Storm? Whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it, then... Does it... Oh, is this... Oh, are you saying this card is banned? Or this card breaks Mishra? Oh, we got Flo Nino with the super chat. Choose 3 cards, then draw 4 for your starting hand. Choose... Oh, really? That is nuts. You playing with combo players or something? You can just have the combo in your hand. Choose 3 cards, then draw 4 for your starting hand. All you need to do is draw the mana. In fact, you could draw combo piece 1, combo piece 2, and then like a Soul Ring or something, and then draw 4 random cards. That sounds like an absolutely I mean, you have to be playing really fair. So I guess people get to play with their like most favorite cards or their new cards that they just bought. I do understand, you know, I've bought like cards for my commander deck that I've never drawn them before. It's never happened. So you get to draw the new $20 card that you just purchased for your deck. See how it works out, how it feels, how it plays. It's an interesting rule. Like, you have to be in a play group that is not going to abuse it, because you can obviously abuse it with combos. We got Zik LeQuirst with my other rule 0 was budget legacy is legal versus competitive modern in casual. Oh, when two worlds collide. Would budget legacy work versus competitive? I would imagine some modern decks could still wipe the floor with legacy decks. It'd be more fair. I think it would be more fair than it looks like. Okay, Mr. Deadhead says, every card you own, you are allowed to cast one of each tip each turn on your turn. I have no idea what you're saying. Oh, yeah, okay, you can, okay, so we break Mishra with Relentless Rats and Shadowborn Apostle. Oh, I see. Okay, so whenever you play an artifact spell, you may search your library hand or... I still don't know how you break this. It's not an artifact, though. Oh, Blood Funeral, maybe? What is this puzzle? Somehow Mishra Artificer Prodigy got banned in the play group. Oh, that is a hot one. You play with 30 life. Does that change much? So basically, it's like no point, you know, commander damage doesn't even matter. You just go for the throat. Because if you can hit 21 commander damage, you might as well hit 30 life as well. Oh no, but it's the same thing, right? You hit, when you deal commander damage, it's not like Infect. You deal actual damage and you deal commander damage. I forgot. Cyclonic Griff says, Rule 0, last game of the night, start with your commander in play. Bam! We gotta speed this thing up. We're starting with the commanders in play. Do it. We're starting with I like that one, actually. Basically, it's this is a way of getting in a quick game, you know, with speed it up. You should also start with like 5 lands in play as well and just draw off the top of your deck. Dick says, we're still talking about commander, right? Ain't nobody getting extra stuff with a 60-card deck. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like, if you're just playing outside of a tournament. Remember, the tournament rules are tournament rules. Although there is a rule 0 for modern sometimes, which they there's like no ban modern. No ban modern is basically a rule 0, and also like no modern horizon card modern is also a rule 0. Basically. Okay, Mishra plus Darkstar Ashura is telling us how this works. Thanks for the super chat. Mishra and Nether Void. Is this the combo? I still got Mishra up. Still got Mishra up. There we go. Nether Void. Black 3 generic. Whenever a player plays a spell, counter it unless its controller pays 3. I don't know how that combos. Whenever a player casts a spell, counter unless that player pays 3. Whenever you play an artifact spell, I am missing something here. If anyone after the show knows how to like break Mishra in Commander, you let us all know. Or am I getting trolled super hard? Maybe I'm super getting hardcore trolled. Okay, so we've got, what we got here? Imixian says, my rule 0.5 is if we have to mulligan, we can choose what cards we don't want and put them on the bottom of the deck and draw back up to 7, up to 2 free mulligans. So you can basically tear apart your hand, keep some cards. I think they've tried actually implementing that in Magic the Gathering before. They tried a bunch of different mulligan rules to try to figure out how to fix mulliganing, and they ended up on the London mulligan. And I think that was one of their potential ones, was you keep certain cards in your hand, you just mulligan away certain other pieces. Well, that's probably really broken. But I think good for Commander. Good for Commander. Just look up partial Paris mulligan. Oh, is that just what it is? The partial Paris mulligan? I'll look it up. Partial Paris mulligan. The Paris mulligan. The current mulligan system, the Paris mulligan, was developed as a replacement to the original mulligan system. It was meant to be used at Pro Tour Los Angeles. Can we zoom in? Oops. Too close. But by mistake, the floor rules packet for Pro Tour Paris included the description of the new mulligan rule as well as hand, whatever. To mulligan, after drawing hands before the game starts, the players decide in turn order if they would like to mulligan or keep. Each player who chooses to mulligan shuffles his or her hand into their library and draws a new hand with 1 less card. Each player who chooses to keep his or her hand become... Well, that's just the regular mulligan. Popular variant of the Paris mulligan used in the Commander format called the partial Paris, wherein instead of putting the entire hand back into their library, a player may choose to put a number of cards from their hand aside face down, then draw that number of cards minus 1, after which they shuffle the cards they set aside into their library. Yep, the partial Paris mulligan. You heard it, people. We got Herbert with a huge super chat. Possibility Storm puts the artifact you cast on the bottom of the library, then you get that's how it works. I didn't want to read Possibility Storm. I hate reading all this text and then finding out like it doesn't work. So you can break Mishra with Possibility Storm by putting it. So whenever a player casts a spell from his or her hand, that player exiles it. Exile cards from the top of their library until he or she exiles a card that shares a card with it, which you won't because it's exiled. That player may cast the spell without paying its mana cost. Then he or she puts all the cards exiled with Possibility Storm on the bottom of his or her library in a random order. And then that's when the Mishra kicks in. So whenever you play an artifact spell, you may search your library, hand, or graveyard. So basically, this Mishra trigger will go on the stack. Possibility Storm will go on the stack. Possibility Storm basically fizzles. And then the Mishra one, that's it. Okay, we've broken it. Everyone in the comments section, if you've answered Possibility Storm correctly, you win. You win. Give yourself a cookie. What the hell is this? We need a Mexican mulligan. Discard the dead wood and smuggle the cards you want into your hand. Spoletter says, if you want to read a lot of text on another red card, confusion in the ranks? No, thank you. Reading no good. Oh man, do I have to do a lot of reading while being a streamer. Okay, so Mr. Deadhead, you can play every card you own. You are only allowed to cast 1 of each type each turn on your turn. How does that work? You can play every card you own. You are only allowed to cast 1 of each type each turn on your turn. So what, like without paying its mana cost? Or are you just saying you're restricted to 1 sorcery, 1 instant, 1 creature, 1 artifact, 1 planeswalker per turn? Yeah, each type. Only 1 of each type. Okay, Dick Hammerbush says, I've played a few games where we all took any amount of, I'm guessing, lands out of our decks, and we made a decision on our draw step to draw either the land from the stack or our decks. Any shuffle Any shuffle, also shuffle lands. I thought of this myself as like a sub-variant of the game. Like, if you need lands, you draw from the land pile. If you need spells, you draw from the spells pile. And there's still like some variation with how many lands you draw, because you may not draw the right color of lands that you need, especially if you're a multicolored deck. This probably is broken. No, there's still utility lands that you want to get. You still want to draw. If I were like a monocolor deck, I would still want to draw from my land pile to potentially get Oboro or Oboro, Minamo, Otawara, Fairy Conclave, Nykthos. So, how many people like this idea where you're drawing a little, you draw from the land pile, or you drawing from the spell pile? Oh, he said the name. He said the. I did say the name. Oh, I got him. You got me big. I got. No, I didn't see it at all. I didn't see it coming. What the hell? You can keep right. So Dick says you can keep. You can also keep lands in your deck. Oh, you can do that as well. So you can have certain lands. Well, now that you can have. So you can have lands. You mean the good lands? I'm guessing. I don't know if that's fair. I think you should have all lands in one pile. Whatever. You guys can do whatever you want. Which pile do you mill? I guess you have to target a library. I will say it makes the mill job easier, because if you mill the spell deck, you would screw them over faster, because once they run out of spells, they're done for. And then all they're left is a library of lands to draw from. Nice. The 2 libraries reminds me of Inscription. Basically, Force of Will. Me and my friends even did a Force of Will styled commander game. I don't know the rules to Force of Will, but I like the idea of two decks, so that you minimize maybe unfairly minimize the odds of drawing. It's a way of making Magic like Hearthstone, because in Hearthstone you're guaranteed an extra land drop basically every single turn, and you would in some sense do that with Magic the Gathering, although you do have to, it comes at the cost of your draw step. So if you do want to draw a land for the turn, you're not drawing a spell in this case. Crimson Wolf with the more rule zeros. Rule 0, first person who dies wins. What? Oh, so basically it's you create some sort of game of self-destruct suicide. It's like suicide chess. You gotta get rid of all your pieces first. Whoever gets rid of all the pieces wins the game. But then you guys have to like build decks around this rule 0. In that game, Tasha's Hideous Laughter is an instant win. No, not necessarily. You would just wipe out the land pile really quickly. Rules. Oh, here's an interesting rule. No commander damage from Nick Barth. No commander damage. You gotta, if you want to win, you gotta do it the old-fashioned, or you gotta do it with Infect. You gotta do it the old-fashioned way. PM, rule 0, sometimes you can only finish the game with an infinite combo. You can only... Oh, so no infinite combos allowed, but if it wins the game, then it's permissible. Oh, Darkstar is getting a little bit more specific here. So rules is 2 decks, 1 for lands, 1 for main. You draw from your main. You could tap your commander to put the top card of your land deck into play, but you can't cast your commander that turn then. What? What kind of weird thing is this? You can tap your commander to put the top card of your land deck in play. What a weird... Hey, that is an interesting rule 0. You give your all commanders have the ability tap, put a land in play, or something to that effect. Or at least if you have 2 piles, you can tap the commander to put a land from your land pile into play. Man, we're going deep with this land pile. Land pile can't be targeted. Oh yeah, you have to, with in turn 3, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, hit all your lands. You're screwed. Eat up your land pile. How do you draw for the first... How do you draw cards for the first game? So you have to land pile and the spell pile. You have to draw 7 cards, right? I'm assuming you draw from... Or do you just draw 7 spells, and then for the first, like, 7 turns, you just draw from the land pile? Oh, Darkstar is trying to turn Magic into a Force of Will. I have no idea what the Force of Will rules are at all. I don't know a single thing about Force of Will. Spula says, how about a deck for each card type, but you have to at least play a certain number of each card type. Then you choose at the beginning of the turn where to draw. What? How about a deck for each? Oh god, well that's getting too much. You have like one card for your, I don't know, Planeswalker pile. I think that's a bit too much. It's just it's basically I'm just tutoring everything that I want. I might have one sorcery in my deck. I could just draw it. Draw the sorcery. Almond says, I don't have a rule 0 talk in fear of them shunning my Corvold mass land destruction sacrifice deck, which is the only deck I have. Corvold. Well, if they want to play, and they need to play with you, then they have to at least let you play your deck. Corvold, Fey Cursed King. This doesn't look like a fairy at all. What is this Fey? It's just a dragon. Or it's cursed, maybe it's cursed by the Fey. So what you're saying is your deck is broken and you fear if you incorporate rule 0s, they'll rule 0 you out of the playgroup. Carubs, we decide who starts with the dice, but the closest to 14 rather than 20. Ah, interesting. And so what, if someone gets 13, someone gets 15, it's a reroll because you're both one off? Also, team, at my school, we played something we called Mana Lords, where you could play any number of... Oh, I see. You know, I think everyone's done this before. Mana Lords, where you could play any number of lands each turn, and every time you play a land, you could draw a card? Okay, now, that's broken. That's absolutely broken. I can totally understand, like, dumping your hand of lands, because it reminds me of when I first played the Pokemon TCG. The game was, like, when I was a kid, the game seemed, like, really lame, just putting one energy on a Pokemon a turn. So we just dumped all our energy on a Pokemon to, like, make things like Charizard actually playable. Yeah, totally a danger. So I understand, being a Mana Lord, that you can put lands into play. You know, that I could see that work. You know, you just basically accelerate the game, put as many lands as you want onto the battlefield. But to draw a card every single time you play a land, every deck should just storm off, technically. Or I think you would. That sounds so grossly insane. Yeah, a danger big time. Oh, we got book trivia. No ban list, silver border cards. Nothing is not allowed. We also play with some old rules text pre-errata. There, whoa, that is okay. Now that's the no ban list. I understand. The silver border cards. I understand. The rules text pre-errata. Are you also playing with damage on the stack? Got to make that Mog Fanatic good again. All right. Well, that was an interesting Coffee and MTG. No. If you guys have any other Rule Zeros that we didn't discuss or you want to comment any of them, hey, let us all know in the comments section below. As usual, if you want to be part of these discussions, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thank you very much for everyone for the super chats. Also, people who are members on YouTube and also patrons on Patreon. Links to support the channel in the description, because when you support, I definitely will be here every morning. Never miss a day. Do you see me missing a weekday? Well, sometimes when I'm on vacation, but, you know, it's not often. But thank you to everybody who shows up in the morning here. People like Levy, people like Approaching Calamity, and also JM Day. Because without you guys, I've got no show. You guys are the show. So as usual, keep brewing up those coffees, and we will keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you the next cup.